We'd love for that to happen. A couple other things. This Wednesday at 5 o'clock, remember, it took you guys a while this morning. I said, 5 o'clock. What time does it start? 5 o'clock. Just look at your hand and remember it's 5 o'clock, except for Dennis, who says 4. But it's at 5 o'clock, and so it took people a while to remember that Dennis missed a finger there, but that was pretty funny. And if you couldn't tell, that was right off the top of my head. I didn't even, I didn't write that down ahead of time. But 5 o'clock, our Christmas Eve candlelight communion service. We're looking forward to a good night then, so please come and be a part of that with us. Invite people to come with you. We'd love to have a big crowd that night as well. Next Sunday night, we'll have a fellowship for Brother Bobby over in the Family Life Center, so please come be a part of that as well. January the 4th and 11th and possibly the 18th, we're going to be having a new membership class. And so if you know of anybody that is not a member of the church and that it's something they'd be interested in doing, just have them let me know. It's not a big deal. Even they can sit through the class. And just because they sit through the class, they may get to the end of the class and say, you know what, I don't want to join the church. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I want them to just be informed of what our church is, what we believe, who we are, and all those things before someone joins the church. And so we would love to have that. So if you know of someone or if that's you, just let me know, and we'll have a spot for you at that class. January 11th, we announced this morning, King James Boys Gospel Bluegrass Group will be here January the 11th. Looking forward to having them here as well. I'm trying to remember. Oh, also, there's a girls' conference, Time to Shine, Free in the Light, simulcast conference for teen girls ages 12 through 18. It's in February the 21st, but you can sign up and register with that QR code that's in the bulletin and go from that. But it's for all of our teenage girls. We'd love to have you come and be a part of that. And any other girls in the area from your school, whoever that could come, we'd love to have them come as well. But again, thank you so much for being here tonight. It's good to have you. We're going to pray and now turn it over to Brother Bobby. God, thank you so much for all of your love. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you just for the day that you gave us today, Lord. And God, we pray that you'll be with those who are not with us tonight because of illness and sickness, Lord. I pray that you will watch over them and continue to give them health and help them to get over this quickly. God, we thank you for this time together tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Stand if you would, please, as we open a song. Psalm 19, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaim his handiwork. Day to day pours out speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. From the highest of heights to the depths of the sea, creation's revealing your majesty. From the colors of fall to the fragrance of spring, every creature unique in the song that it sings, all exclaiming, indescribable, uncontainable. You place the stars in the sky and you know them by name. You are amazing, God. All powerful, untamable, awestruck we fall to our knees as we humbly proclaim. You are amazing, God. Has told every lightning bolt where it should go, or seen heavenly storehouses laden with snow. Who imagined the sun that gives source to its light, yet conceals it to bring us the coolness of night? None can fathom, indescribable, uncontainable. You place the stars in the sky and you know them by name. You are amazing, God. All powerful, untamable, awestruck we fall to our knees as we humbly proclaim, you are amazing God. Indescribable, uncontainable, you place the stars in the sky and you know them by name. You are amazing God. Incomparable, unchangeable, you see the depths of my heart and you love me the same. You are amazing God. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. Lord, I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Please open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. Lord, I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. So open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. Lord, I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Please open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. Lord, I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Father, we want to see you tonight. Work on our lives once again. We're here gathered in your name, asking you, God, to move. Lord, bless Pastor Darren. Bless his heart. Bless the message that you laid on his heart. Help us to be a church that you've called us to be. One that loves one another as you prayed for us to. One that shares the gospel willingly, liberally, with everyone that we can. Seeking opportunity to make your name lifted up as high as it can be. We are honored with the opportunity, God, the responsibility that you've placed on us, Lord, to make you known here in Washington and wherever else that we can. Lord, help us to sit at your feet tonight, bind up distractions and all that would seek to use them against us, so that we may receive the nourishment from your word and your Holy Spirit that you have reserved for us at this time. May we have it and may we carry it out with us wherever you may have us to go. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you, everybody. If you would please be seated.
Tonight I want to continue looking at becoming a welcoming church. We've kind of been looking at this. It's been a few weeks since we have looked at this. But one thing I want to bring to your attention, just in case you haven't noticed, I about fell off that thing. The last couple of Sundays, several Sundays, we've had several visitors who have been here, especially on Sunday mornings. There's a young couple that's been coming. Today was their third week. I asked them, it's kind of one of those strange things. Basically, I said, and this is not what I said or how I said it, but basically what I said was, why are you here? And they just said, hey, they're new in the area. They just moved here, and they were looking at different churches in the area, and they came to ours, and then they came back the next week. Well, the second week, I said, hey, I see you came back. That was good. And I said, just for your information, I said, I don't want to push anything on you too fast, but I said, we have a young adult group that meets on Sunday mornings in our life groups, and we have one, and the same group meets on Wednesdays, and we'd love you to be a part of that if you can. And they showed up this morning at 9:15. We're here for class this morning and here for church, and they're supposed to be back. They told their teacher they'd be back next week. So that's good. We have another older couple that's been coming for the last month and a half, 2 months maybe, and they have gotten involved. When we were setting up and doing things for the neighborhood Thanksgiving meal, they came over, helped set up tables and helped decorate and put things out, and they were there. They've been coming, and he's been asking me, hey, we want to join the church. We want to join the church. They're ready to join. So I was planning things for them, and then they brought a family with them, third week in a row that came with them, another couple that came with them. They live down Cotton Patch over in Blunt's Creek, down in that area, and so they've been the last 3 weeks, and so it's just, we've got some people that have been coming, and so it's good, and so what we've got to do as a church body is make sure we're looking for those people. We've had other couples and families that have been here. One of Ashley's school persons that he went to school with, back in the 1800s, was here this morning as well, and so that was good. So there's several people that's been coming, and so it's been good. And listen, that's exciting to me, but there's still more people that we need to reach and people that we need to do. And so I want to continue looking at this book that Tom Rainer wrote called Becoming a Welcoming Church, and kind of continue looking at chapter 3 because we didn't finish all of that the last time we did it. But the last time we were at the beginning of chapter 3, and we looked at some of the myths that people have about church signage, if you remember. And that sounds weird. It's a Sunday night. We're at church. It's right before Christmas, and you're talking about signs. Well, this is where we're at. And we looked at signs that churches may need. Chuck, be quiet. And I'm glad we don't have any visitors here tonight, so that's good. I know, but it's just you and me, Chuck. All right, now where am I at? So we looked at what signage churches may need and considered to be considered a hospitable church. Some things that we need to do, signs that we may not need, signs that we may need as well. Tonight I want to look at, briefly, we won't be here the whole time, but I want to look at the front door that we often forget. And the front door that we often forget. In a survey that was done across the country, 7 out of 10 first-time guests said they use Google to search for local churches and that they look at different churches' websites and social media. So I want you to understand that. I also will add that probably more now than ever, people will visit a Facebook page. They'll visit an Instagram page to get details about the church that they're thinking about visiting. They go and look up these things and see this stuff. It's there. Whether we like those things or not, that's not the issue here. People are looking at them and they're viewing those things. Guests will drive by a church. They'll see the name of the church and they'll go home and they'll look it up. They'll hear conversations about a church that people may be having somewhere, and they'll look up the church to check it out and see what those conversations were all about. Many were undecided about the church that they would go to, aka some of this young family that came, hey, we're going to go visit some churches, different places. And so many times these people who are undecided will go online. They'll look at social media to see how far away the church is, what time are the services start, and where these things begin at. And so if we pause for a moment to take in the reality of this objective research that these people did, and then we carefully listen to what I just said as well, we need to note this very important thing that I want you to get. This is what I want you to understand. 7 out of 10 guest will go to a church's website as a determinative factor in whether or not they will visit that church. 7 out of 10. Now, while the website and the social media may not be the sole determining factor of whether or not they go there, it is a determining factor for 7 out of 10 people. In other words, if a church is not focusing time and resources on their church's website, on social media, they're missing out on part of the Great Commission. A church with a lousy website is committing, I believe, a sin of negligence. You're just not putting it out there. You're not doing what you should be doing. And I don't think that's an overstatement to put that out there. These are what people are looking for. It's part of the Great Commission. You're reaching people. Websites today are more affordable, halfway easy to maintain if you can get the right people to do them. There's probably some teenagers who could run them just as well as anybody. All of these things, they could come in here and they'd be done with it in 5 minutes, and we're still trying to read the directions. Social media is still free, and it's not difficult to maintain if you have people who are willing to spend time and effort on it a little bit. I think it's been about 5 or 6 weeks now. I started doing this because I asked someone, and we were talking about outreach. And the response that they gave me was, I think one of the biggest outreaches today is social media. So I was thinking, okay, what are we doing? And so I started looking, and so I spend about 3 or 4 hours, because I'm not a teenager, and go quickly through these things, but I spend about 3 or 4 hours on Monday, and I try to make a post for Facebook and Instagram that will pop up Monday evening sometimes if I can get Monday in, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the next Monday I start all over. And I can time them to where they come on automatically. I don't make a post every day. I make 6 posts, 7 posts on Monday, and then I say turn on Wednesday, because Wednesday mornings we have a Bible study at 11 o'clock, so I don't want to announce and talk about our Bible study at 11 o'clock at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I say at 8 o'clock Wednesday morning, put this on there. And so Wednesday morning, 8 o'clock, it pops up there. Sunday mornings, it comes on at 7:45 every Sunday morning. Hey, we're having church today. You're welcome. We'll love to have you come be a part of it. And so those come on every Sunday. And then I've done some things. Because I'm not the most creative in everything, I say, hey, pray for this missionary. I'm not going into details and going all this stuff, but I go on websites and find a picture of a missionary, pray for this missionary, come on Thursdays at 11 a.m. And that's what it does. And so it comes on our Facebook and on our Instagram. And so they're not that hard to do if you know how to do it, but it does take some time. You just need people who will do those things. So if church websites and social media pages are truly the front door of the church, how do we make the front door more accessible? How can we do those things? And Tom Rainer and his team looked at hundreds of websites and social media pages and found many reoccurring common mistakes that churches make. And so that's what I want to look at, is just some things that are out there for that. And it's funny because as I was putting this together, I went to our church's website. Did you know we have a website? Have you ever been to it? Have you been to it lately? When you scroll down towards the bottom, there's a place that talks about kids ministry, student ministry, and other things on there. And I clicked on the first one. I thought, hi, let's just check it out. So I clicked on the first one, kids ministry, and it thought for a minute, and the page popped up, said, oops, we can't find that page. And I was thinking, ah. So I said, all right, go to number 2. Student ministry, clicked on that one, waited for a minute. Oops, we can't find that page. And I was like, I'm fixing to talk about this Sunday night, and ours is not even going. And so I clicked on that. All the other ones went somewhere and did it, but those first 2. And so I was talking to Daniel. Daniel's sick as a dog. And I was talking to Daniel, and I said, hey, I clicked on these. They didn't pop up. So I said, if you get bored while you're sitting around sneezing and coughing and aching and stuff, you had fever so you can't rest, I said, just take a look at this. So he texted me and said, hey, I looked at, I went over there and looked at it, and I fixed those 2 pages. And I don't know what he did, but he got them fixed pretty quick and easy. And he didn't recreate anything. He just somehow turned them back on. I don't know what he did, but they're on. And so they're back there. So, and I know that worked because I went and looked at it here just before I came out here tonight. I want to make sure that they were working. So they are coming on. But there's some other things that happen. Here's some of their findings. Church address and service times are difficult to locate. This mistake is the most common reason that guest decides not to come to a church is because they look at your website, they look at some social media, and they cannot figure out what time they're supposed to even be there. They don't know what the church's address is. They don't know what time the churches start. They cannot put it into their GPS and find where it's at, and so they don't go because they can't find those things. Their findings found that there are a large number of church websites that do not give this information in a clear and prominent place on their homepage. It's not there. It's not easily accessed. It's not easy to find. They even found that there are several churches who don't put any of that information out there at all. You go to their websites and you look and you can't even find an address. You don't even know where it's located. You can't find service times at all. You wonder if they have service times because they don't have them posted. And so that's the first one that they have found. The second thing is this: outdated information. That is the hardest thing because it's easy to put stuff out there. It's hard to maintain it and not keep it from going back. We tried when we made a bio sort of on our staff page on the website that talks about Darren and talks about Daniel and talks about Bobby. And as you look at those things on that page, I said, don't say that you've been here for 11 years. Because next year it'll be 12, we got to go back and change it to 12, and we'll forget about that. And you'll be here for 15 years, and it'll say 11. So we have to monitor those things. So we said, started working at the church in 2007. And that way you could just do the math yourself. And so we have those things in there, and so we try to keep that in. But a lot of times, their findings from Tom Rainer and the people that he has worked with, and then even my own research and stuff that I've looked at, there's many churches that are still advertising Easter, and Thursday's Christmas. And so we have to be careful if we're going to, oh, this is really great, we got a website. Well, if you're going to have a website, you got to keep it updated. Because when you don't, it shows a lack of concern. It shows a lack of professionalism that many guests may be looking for in a church. And because of that, because of those reasons, they don't even visit that church. The third thing I want you to see is a lack of clarity about beliefs or doctrine. Not all guests will check on this important information. Sometimes they don't even care about those things, but many will. And churches should not hesitate to share with clarity what it is that they believe, particularly their core beliefs. This is our core beliefs. Now, there are some other things. I believe there's some other churches that are not in Free Will Baptist denomination that I believe, hey, they're Christian, they're going to heaven when they die, just like I am. But some of their core beliefs, some of the things, we may differ on a few things. And so we need to make sure that we can say, hey, this is who we are, this is what we believe. Some of the most effective means to communicate doctrine with people is a simple link on a homepage that says what we believe. I went and looked again, even on ours. We have that. Now, it doesn't say specifically what we believe, but we have a thing, who we are, and you click on there, and it says, this is what we believe, and then there's even a link down below that says, hey, for more information, for more detailed information, you can click this, and it takes you to the National Association of Free Will Baptist website that gives you a what we believe, and it has the whole thing of there, and so there's a lot of reading that you can look at those. Those who choose to view the doctrinal statements can click on the link. They can even look at the full page of church's basic beliefs and what they want to know. And studies show that you may lose as many as half of your potential guests without having that information. If they don't know what you believe, they may not want to go. You know, they don't want to go to some place that may be a little different and crazy or something that they don't believe. So they want to know, what do you believe? And if you don't have something out there, they're not going to go for sure. I would dare say that there are probably some people here tonight, maybe this morning, probably for sure, that are not 100% for sure what our church believes in everything. or what our Free Will Baptist doctrines are. Many go to church because they like the pastor. I don't know why you like this pastor, but they may like the pastor. They may go to church because they like the people that are there. They just, hey, they're friends, and we got some friends there, so that's why we go. And sometimes they may get surprised when some kind of doctrinal statement may come up in a service that they may disagree with or didn't understand, and it surprises them because, I didn't know we believed that, and they've been going here for 5 years. And so those things happen. I would say that we probably all need to refresh on these things every so often so that we can know what we believe as a church, what we believe as Free Will Baptist, not only for our own personal information, but so that we can be able to share that information with others who may be asking, hey, what do you guys believe at your church? I don't know, but we like it. Come on. That's a good top of the line, shallow end of the pool way to get people, but we want to go deeper. We want people to know what we believe. The next thing is, mistake is incomplete or total lack of information about children's ministry or student ministry. They can't find any information about their kids. Parents want to know what the church has for their children. I know for many years there were people that came. We did so much stuff for several years, and there's people that would come to church because, hey, you guys have a youth ministry, a children's ministry that's doing stuff, and they're involved, and we want our kids to be a part of those things. And so parents are looking for those things, and they not only want to know about the ministries and the activities that's going on, but a lot of parents also want to know that their children are going to be safe and happy when they come to church. And so they're looking for this information. And if we really want to win over these parents, we need to tell them how we will make their kids safe and secure when they come to visit and what we're going to do with their kids when they're here. So that information needs to be out there. The next thing is this: poor graphics and images. There are many good places that a church can go and get good quality images for small cost or even for free. And you can get a lot of good stuff out there. We live in a very visual world. When a guest visits our websites or even social media pages for the first time, the photos that they may see shout a loud message about how our church is. It shouts a loud message about how much we care for people. It shouts a loud message about how much we care for people who may not be part of our church and why we even want you here. And so we have those things that are out there. And so I got interested, and so I like stats and different things. So I looked at some stats from our Facebook page and some of our Instagram pages, and just looked at some different stats that I could find. And again, I'm not the greatest one to do these things, but I could find some stuff. And so it says that I found over the last 28 days, which is about a month, our church Facebook page has had 40,897 views, which is up 19% from the previous 28 days. So that's a lot of people looking at things. Now, most of it could be you, but that's a lot of people looking at those things. These posts had 1,547 3-second views, which means somebody clicked on it, and then they kept going. All right? They didn't get into the whole thing, but they at least 3 seconds were looking at it. And that's up 15% in the last 28 days. We had 308 views that were at least 1 minute or more. So they didn't just 3 seconds and out, but they watched for at least a minute and sometimes more than that they were watching and being a part of, and that's more than 28% increase from the last 28 days. Instagram, now this is something we're still trying to work on because I'm not the big Instagram person, but Instagram had 1,052 views in the last 29 days. So that's not terrible bad, but there's some work that could be done there. When looking at Facebook content type, post with a photo received 82 point, that's supposed to be a point, see, when I'm talking about how you need to make things professional, and then I put a comma instead of a period, it makes me look bad. But post with a photo received 82.7% of the views compared to posts that had text only, which only received 0.1% of views. So when you put a picture and put something with your statement that you're posting on social media, more people will stop and look at it than if you just put text and they just keep on going by. Because I read a lot already. I don't need to sit there and read your book that you just wrote. And so that's what people look at and what they view. We also see that 51.7% of our Facebook views were by followers. That's what I want you to see. 51% of our Facebook views were followers. But this is the important stat that we should get from this. 48.3% of views were by non-followers, people that don't follow our church. They're just randomly, they see this stuff as it goes through there and they stop and look and they check it out. 48% of all of our views were people who don't follow our church. That's a lot. That's almost half. On Instagram, it's about it's not the opposite, it's just horribly worse. 93% of our Instagram views were by followers, people that already follow our church page, and 93% of them do it. But if you want to say on the positive here, which what we want to do is 6.9% of the views were by people who are not followers. So we have people that are looking at things that are not followers of our page, but we only reach about 59 different accounts on Instagram, and so there's a lot of work that needs to be done on Instagram. Now, in thinking of these things, the Facebook post that we did of Landon Moss, if you remember that, Landon Moss made Truth and Peace, and we posted a picture that was out there that went on Facebook. That picture that we put of Landon Moss making the Truth and Peace Leadership Conference had 3,877 views. Just that picture alone. We had a group of people that went to New York a few weeks ago, and I've talked to some of them. They said, man, I will never do that again. But we had some people that went to New York a couple of weeks ago, and they took a group picture at a train station in New York. That picture received 2,786 views, just that one picture. But here's the thing. We made a Facebook post that said that we hired Drew McClure to come and be our new music worship pastor that's coming in. That post had 13,443 views. So that's a lot. And so that was pretty neat thing to look at. Our Sunday morning services receive anywhere from about 250 to 450 views each week. Again, some of them may be 1 minute, some of them may be 3 minutes and more, but we get anywhere from 250 to 450 views each week. We had a recent Sunday night service. I didn't look to see what was going on. It just the picture of it, the beginning of it, and I didn't click play, but it had a bunch of the kids up here singing. So I know it was just a recent one. And so it had 659 views just that Sunday night service. And so there's a lot of things that were going on. What I can say from this and what I can get from these things and these stats that are out there that are very important stuff is our footprint of our church is growing. It may not be like whoosh, expanding humongously very quickly, but it is growing. And you can help with that. You can help by liking pictures that you see. You see a church page, you look at it, and you get all the information, but you skip over that little thumbs up thing. You just reading. All right? If you like those things, what that does is that shows other people, and that makes it go out to more places. So you like those things. You can share those things. You click the little share button, share it to your Facebook page. You don't have to do every single thing. But there may be times, there may be services, special services or special events or special things or stuff that you could put out there, especially things that say, hey, we have a candlelight communion service on Christmas Eve. Oh, you see that? Oh, that's good information. Well, you know what you could do? You can like those things, and you can share those things to yours because that gets the information out even more. And so we put those out there. And I know that not many of you do those things because I can see and look on our pages and see, if you liked it, I can see who likes them. Everybody can. And then you see who shares and how many shares things get. And so those are things that we can help with that footprint. And then there's some more common mistakes that are made on websites and other social media are these things that we've been looking at. The next thing is there's hardly visible contact information. Have you ever been to a website and found difficulties trying to, how do I contact them? It may be you're a store that you've ordered something from, and you're trying to figure out, well, how do I contact them to get this information? How do I find out these things? Well, it should not happen at churches' websites or social media. There should be something there where you can contact people to where they get a hold of them. Guests may have questions before they visit. We've gotten phone calls here at the church that Barbara has answered and that I have answered as well, and probably the other guys too. But they may have questions that they may want to ask before they visit. So why would churches make their contact information very obscure and almost invisible if you want people to contact you? You want to have that out there where people will know what these things are. Our site should let people know how to get in touch with the right person at our church. And churches should have someone who will be responsible for responding to them. This morning, the whole reason why I was mentioning this morning, and I did a little bit tonight about our Christmas Eve services at 5, is because there was someone that typed underneath it and said, 5 p.m., question mark? And I don't know, I didn't look at when they typed that, but man, I wanted to respond, so I had to respond. Yes, it is at 5 o'clock. That's when we're having. So I wanted people to know because people ask. And I want them to see, hey, because they were trying to say, is that right? Is that correct? Yes, it is. It's at 5 o'clock. And so that's what we want to do. We have to have, but you have to have somebody respond, because somebody could ask a question, and it could be 3 weeks later and after the event happened that you answer them. And you don't want to do that. You want to be able to get back to them. And then the last common mistake that we're going to look at tonight, that we'll discuss tonight, is many sites have no photos of pastor or staff or other leadership on their websites. There's no photos at all of them. And churches should let guests know that the leaders of their church are real people. So we should show photos of the staff so guests can recognize leaders when they visit the church. When they walk in the church, they've seen a picture of who the pastor is or who the youth person is and different things. And so they recognize them and they know them sometimes by name because, hell yeah, I saw you on Facebook. I'm thinking, man, I don't know who you are from Adam and you know me. That's kind of scary sometimes, but it happens. And it's there, and it's a good scary thing, but it's there. And we need to make sure also that these photos are not outdated photos, that happen, photo before someone loses 100 pounds or something like that, or after they gain 100 pounds or whatever it is. But, we need to have those, or not cheesy photos. It's, when you're trying to advertise your church and you're trying to put it out there, you don't need the goofy picture that looks all cheesy. And so you're trying to advertise those things that are out there. We should let guests begin to get comfortable with the leaders of the church through their photos before they even arrive at the church, because they're seeing that and they know who they are. And this list that we kind of went through quickly tonight, it's not an exhaustive list of common mistakes. It's just a short list of different things, some of the top ones. But what it does do is it does show things that churches need to look at and try to improve if necessary, if they can. A lot of this stuff we have already done. I mean, before we even got to this, except for when I went to the website and we couldn't get on a couple of those pages, our times and our address is right there. And it tells you where those things are at. And so we have a lot of those good things, but there's some other things that we could work on to make things better. I believe some churches do a good job also of sharing the gospel through a written presentation on websites and on social media. You're sharing the gospel through those. You're using those tools that are there, that have been provided. Instead of being scared and afraid of those things, we use those things to be able to share the gospel through those things. And oftentimes it's on a homepage, it just says, how can I become a Christian? How can I receive Christ? And so you have it there and you're sharing the gospel with people. Many churches also provide videos of their services. Some do not. Some do Sunday mornings only, but they don't do other times. They just do the Sunday morning. And though the numbers of some churches are not very large, some churches are not very big, and sometimes there's not a lot of views, videos can provide guests with a taste of what they may see or hear at the church before they ever visit. I've had people who have told me that they watch because they want to see, what are they wearing? Before I go to church, I want to know, can I wear this, or should I wear this, or should I not? And they want to see. They'll listen to the music. What kind of style of music do they have? They'll look at the preacher. Hey, what is that preacher preaching about? Is he, boring and just sitting there reading there through everything, or is he talking and sharing things? They look through all of these things to get a good view before they ever go to these places. But I want you to get, when We were doing some Sunday morning only live stream before COVID. When it worked, man, we were up and down with those things. It was just, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. We worked on those things, trying to get it going. And then when COVID hit, man, we really amped up a lot of work to try and put that out. And we tried to do Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, put everything out there. There's good and bad to those things. The bad is, a lot of times people will say, I don't need to go to church, I can just watch it here. And so they'll watch it here, but you know what you do? When I'm watching football, I'm in a good game that I'm very interested in. I'm loving watching this football game. You know what I do? I get up and go to the bathroom, and I miss a few minutes of it. I get up and get me something to eat, and I stick it in the microwave, and I'm standing in front of the microwave for a minute, getting that, and then I'm putting ice in my glass, and I'm getting something here, and I go back in, I missed that. And so stuff happens. I've been in the kitchen and looked into the living room and said, touchdown, across there. I'm like, I missed the whole touchdown. And so we miss things. And so people, hey, if we get used to watching it at home all the time, I mean, we're thankful to have those opportunities to be able to provide that. But what for some people it becomes, I don't have to go. I can just do this. And when they do that, they sit at home and they miss out on things. And then it just becomes, I forgot. You can rewind and you can do things, but people just don't. I mean, they're all the time, they're eating their cereal while they're watching Sunday morning, and are they paying attention to are they really getting it? You miss out on the being together with people. And I think we need to be together with people. But the good thing of it, the positive thing of it, is we've got several shut-ins and several older people who can't be here. I think of Miss Barbara Stocks that just lives right around the corner here. Hey, Miss Barbara. She's probably watching tonight. But Miss Barbara, she can't get out. She struggles getting out and doing things, but she religiously watches every service that we do. Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. She hears the prayer requests that we bring up. She hears the things. She's praying for these things. She knows what's going on. And I go over there to see her, and she asked me, hey, how's Brother Randy doing? Is he out of the hospital? Is he feeling better? She'll ask me, because she heard it on the live stream that he was sick or something was going on, and she'll ask about him because she knows what's going on. She's not the only one. There's other ones that watch all the time. And so I'm glad that we have the ability to be able to live stream and put these things out. Doing that, I'm just going to throw another plug in here. Doing that means we need people that can work the cameras sometimes. Doing that means we need somebody that can sit in the office back here where the monitors are to be able to show those things, because we have two cameras, and one camera goes right here. It's got about this much of me right here. And the other camera goes side. And so if I go over here, I don't know who's up there right now, but if I walk over here and they don't click the camera, you can hear me, but you can't see me. There's also, we've added, since Brother Bobby's been here, there's a microphone right here, and there's a microphone over here that I think does a pretty decent job. It picks up ambient noise, people talking. Now, you say, well, I didn't hear their prayer request. I didn't hear what they answered when you said that. Well, sometimes we have to remember to turn it on, and those things happen. But it's there, and it's ability that we can do these things to be able to share stuff with people, because we want to reach people with the gospel. It's very interesting. I have people in Bulgaria that watch our services every week. There's people in Japan that watch our services every week. There's people in Ecuador that watch our services. There's people in France and Spain that watch our services because we're on there and we do these things. And so I think it's a good thing to be able to help people with that. So simply stated, and I'm going to end, whether the matter at hand is seemingly a mundane issue of church signage or good social media and websites, those of us who serve and attend churches, local church, we cannot take these matters lightly. They are important things to reach other people. One of the things, when I was at, I'm just going to throw this in here because I got a minute or two. The leadership conference that I was at a couple weeks ago, whenever that was, when I was in Tennessee, the keynote speaker was Sam Rainer, who is Tom Rainer's son. Tom Rainer is the guy that wrote the book that we're going through. Sam Rainer was the guy that was speaking at this conference. And one of the things that I don't have time, and I'm not going to get into all this tonight, but what we have to understand is outreach and evangelism are two different things. When we invite someone to come to church, we need to be doing that. That's outreach. We need to be reaching, inviting people to come to church, but that is not sharing the gospel with them. Sharing the gospel is when they'll hear the gospel if they come to church, okay? But we have to understand that we have all been called to share the gospel. And so evangelism and outreach are two different things, and we have to understand that. So not only should we as a church be inviting people to come, but we as a church should be sharing the gospel with other people. Sharing Jesus with them so they can know who Jesus is, because they may never come. You invite them and they may never come, but you may tell them about Jesus and that may spark something in them. We have to share the gospel with other people. I was thinking, and this is not, this is stuff that I want to get into later, but just the thinking part. When is the last time that you or me or we shared the gospel, not invited someone to church, but shared the gospel with someone? Talk to them about salvation. When's the last time we've done that? Because a lot of times our evangelism is, hey, come to church with me Sunday. We'd love to have you come, be a part of it. And we have to start moving into, hey, let me tell you about what Jesus has done for me. And we need to do those things so we can reach more people. Because, listen, one of the things they talked about, and I'm going to get into these things in the upcoming year in January and on, we're going to look at some of the stuff that I've been reading and researching and looking at and hearing. But church growth by transfer is not the greatest church growth. I mean, it does grow, but you're not reaching people. It's just people going from here to this church to this church to this church to this church. It's just transfer. Oh, I went to this church, now I'm going to this church. And that's good. I have no problem with people coming from other churches. I got no problem with that at all. I mean, I'm not trying to pull them out of their church, but I have no problem if they come. But if they already know Jesus and they're Christians, who are we supposed to be reaching? The ones that don't know Jesus. So we need to go out and reach those people. To me, those people, I don't want this to sound in the wrong way, so please don't take it in the wrong way, but those people are more important. The transfer people know Jesus. The other people do not. And we need to reach the ones that do not know Jesus. If the others come, that's great. I'd love to have them. And sometimes they come, they're like, man, I've never had a preacher talk about this stuff before at my church. We never talked about that. We never did these things. And that's great. I love for them to come. But we have to reach the people that don't know Jesus. I was at Texas Roadhouse this afternoon, and this guy walked by, and I really wanted to say something, but again, time and place is important to me. And this guy comes, he's got tattoos. I mean, his whole body, he wore shorts and a tank top because he's got about $3,000 worth of tattoos all over his body or more. And so if you're going to put out that much money on your body, you've got to show it off. I don't want to just, cover it up all the time. And so he's walking through there, and he just sleeves and back and chest and face and all this stuff. He's got these big old gauges in his ears and all this stuff. And I just wanted to go up and say, hey, do you know Jesus? Because to me, and I don't know if he does or not, but to me, the stereotype would say, no, you don't know Jesus. Look at him. But he may know Jesus. But my thing was, man, if you could reach people like that don't know Jesus, and they come to church and they start growing in their faith and growing in those things, can you imagine the witness and testimony that they have to people that you and I ain't going to reach? Bunch of old white people in here, and we ain't going to reach people. Hey, I'm just saying, that's how it is. But there's people out there that need to know Jesus that we need to get out there and just talk to and see. So that's what I want. And I believe that's why we have to become a welcoming church for anybody. I had a young lady come in today this morning. Some of you may have seen her. And she was asking for some help, and I did help her. And I said, hey, do you have a church that you go to? No, we're looking for a church. I said, you are always welcome to come here. She goes, I don't know, I'm not your type. And I knew what she was saying. She was black. And she said, I'm not your type. And I said, I know that we're a predominantly white church, but we have some black folks that come to our church. And if any of them give you a problem, some of these white people give you a problem in my church, you come and tell me, because I will get all over them. Because this is for everybody. I would love to see a rainbow in our church. And I'm not talking about the LGBTQ rainbow. All right? I would love to see more Hispanics and more blacks and more Asian and all these people coming. Because you know what? Here's what we have to understand. That's how it's going to be in heaven. We're all going to be together in heaven. So why not all be together here? And I would love to see that happen. So we've got to become a welcoming church. The message of hospitality becomes a pathway with which we can share the message of the gospel of Jesus Christ with people. So we have to be hospitable. Romans 12:13, you guys thought I'd never read a verse this whole night. Here we go. Romans 12:13. Contribute to the needs of the saints, that's each other, and seek to show hospitality. We have to be hospitable, not just with each other, but with the rest of the world. That's what we need to do. Let's pray. God, thank you so much for this time together tonight. God, I thank you for our church. And God, there's so many things that we are doing. And I believe there's a lot of things that we're doing right. But God, I think there's a lot of things that we could work on and improve as well. And so God, I pray that you will prick in our hearts the gumption to go out and not just invite people, but evangelize and share Jesus with people. So God, I pray that we will be a church that shares Jesus, that's hospitable to anyone that comes and loves them. And so God, I thank you for what you're doing. I thank you for the excitement that I have and the things that I see just from the visitors that we have on Sunday mornings. So God, I pray that you will continue this and that people will come to know Jesus, that people will reach Jesus because of our efforts here at this church. So God, we thank you for what you've done for us all this year. And God, what you're going to do in 2026. God, we love you. We thank you for this Christmas season. In Jesus' name, amen. You're dismissed.